So, dear students, so now we are discussing our fifth unit, that is human population and the environment. I am going to take a quick review of the topics that we have discussed in our earlier lecture, then we will proceed a new topic further. Okay, shall we go ahead? Okay, human population and the environment. So, we have discussed what is population. It's a group of individuals of the same species living in the same area in a given time. They are called as population. That may be an animal population, that may be a bird population. Here we are emphasizing the human population because we are destroying all the natural resources. We are creating a troubles to the environment, so that here the human population is emphasized. Next, population density. It is expressed as the number of individuals of the population per unit area or unit volumes. What are the parameters which affect the population size? That is birth rate, death rate, immigration and emigration. Birth rate means number of birth per 1000 people. Death rate means number of deaths per 1000 people in a population in a given year. Immigration it denotes how many peoples are coming from the other neighboring nations to our country, and emigration means how many peoples are going out of our country. All these factors determine the population size. Population growth, that is the rapid growth of global population for past 100 years. So I have clearly stated in the earlier lecture, up to 1950 there was a stabilization in the population size. After 1950 there was an exponential growth in the populations. The World Health Organizations predicts the world population would be 11.2 million in 2100 years. So this is an estimate. We already crossed the 7 billion. So we would be the population would be 11.2 billion in 2100 years. So global trends of populations we have discussed. China and India contribute the major contributors towards the world population among the other when compared to the other nations. So what are the causes of rapid population growth? So that is due to the development of medical technology, the death rate is decreased, which is the main reason for the population growth. Another thing, that is antibiotics. Various antibiotics vaccine have been discovered, so which controls the disease spread among the populations. So it accelerates the growth of the population. So agricultural based countries, they get more children, so they can earn money for, and they would be supportive to their family. So with this attitude, increase the populations in a larger amount. So see here in this graph, nearly 1950 there was a stabilization in the populations. Apart from that, so the population explosive growth of population was observed. So characteristics of population. So doubling time, that is how many years it takes to double the population size, that is called doubling time, that we have discussed. The total fertility rate, TFR. So TFR, what is the TFR value of the developing country? That is around 5. Developed countries, that is around 2. TFR means how many children one lady can give for entire her life. So that is called TFR. So the TFR is high for the developing countries. Infant mortality rate, it is important parameter affecting the growth of the population. Percentage of infant died out of those born in a year. male female ratio. It is the imbalanced state nowadays, including the China. This 100 males are found. If 100 males are found, only 140 100 females, 140 males. This is the ratio in China. This in India also there is the imbalance, but we could not figure out the exact ratio. As a demographic transition, so that is population growth is generally related to the economic development that we have discussed. Problems of population growth: inadequate housing. If population is more, so they need a residential area, so agricultural lands are converted into the residential land. And deforestation is accelerated. These are all the some of the environmental pollution. These are the problems of population growth. So variation of populations among the nations we have discussed. There are population is categorized into three different way. That is pre-productive population, reproductive population, and post-reproductive population. There are three graphs we have discussed. One graph is like pyramid-like structure, another graph that is bell-like structure, third one urn-shaped structure. So in India, so we are having a pyramid-like structure. It means the bottom, that is pre-reproductive population is more. The youths, infants, children are more in our country. When they enter into the reproductive population size, the population growth will be very high. So if you take countries like France and USA, the pre number of people in the pre-reproductive level and the reproductive level, both are almost equal. So the people from the pre-reproductive stage enters into the reproductive stage, there will be no change in the population. The population growth will not be much affected. So here third one is urn-shaped. It is the case for Germany and Japan. Here the number of people in the pre-reproductive stage is very very low when compared to the other two. When they enter into the reproductive stage, the population size would be decreased. So three different graphs are drawn based on the number of peoples in the pre-reproductive stage and reproductive stage and post-reproductive stage. Okay. So this table we have already discussed. The doubling time for developing countries is very 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 short when compared to the developed countries like USA, UK. Causes of population explosion, effect of population explosions that we have discussed: poverty, so environmental degradation, over exploitation of natural resources, spreading of various diseases, overcrowding on the roads and shopping malls, unemployment. All those problems are associated with the population explosion. Family welfare program we have discussed. This family welfare, that is slowing down of the population by reducing the fertility, that is called family welfare program. So I have already told you, that is United Nations Family Planning Agency provides funds to 135 countries in order to reduce the population size. In our Indian context, this 1978 the government raised the legal minimum age of marriage from 18 to 21 for men and 15 to 18 years for women. After they took various measures to control the population size, population growth. After bringing this kind of changes, the population size was not reduced much. So the controlling of population was given to the state governments. The state governments have taken various measures to control the population size. The Kerala achieved its target of zero population growth. They introduced various measures. One of the measures is they raised the women marriage age of women marriage from 18 years to 21 years. They concentrated on the primary educations. Almost 53% of people are educated in Kerala. So this model paved the way for their success. So other states are advised to follow the Kerala model. So various family control methods we have discussed. Yes, this is our topic that we are going to discuss now. So environment and human health. So this topic is very important, because if we are not having the clean environment, we could not get a good health. So environment and human health both are both side of the coin. It's very important. These various factors affect our human health. What are the factors which affect the human health? So nutritional factor. Yes, we need macronutrients for our survival, like proteins, carbohydrates, etc. We need some micronutrients like sodium, potassium, iron, cobalt, etc. All those nutrients we take from the environment. If the environment quality is poor, when we take these nutrients to our body, some pollutants may enter into our body that will create various health issues, health troubles. Another one is biological factors, which determine our human health. In what way? So bacteria, fungi, virus. Now the corona virus are spreading across the world. Coronavirus locked the entire world. So these viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoas, all those are spreading, are available only in the environment. If we have a clean environment, we have a good health. If environment is not clear, that will affect our health, invariably affect our health. This corona is the best example for that. Next, chemical factors. What are the chemical factors responsible for human health? Yes, nowadays, so you might have heard before a few months in Delhi. The people were struggling to get pure air due to air pollution. Various industries release sulfur dioxide and nitrous oxides into the environment. They form fogs during the winter season that reduces the visibility and creates various health troubles like respiratory problems. These chemical factors determine the human health. The emission of sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides into the environment must be reduced. If the gas emission is not reduced, that's environment, we could not get a clean air. That invariably affects our health. Next one is psychological factors. It affects our health. How? What way psychological factors affect our health? One example I would like to share with you. So we need airport for our mobility, for our comfortability. So if you ask opinion among the people who are residing around the airport, they will definitely say we don't want airport in our residential area, because it will create a noise pollution. They are not ready to accept the noise created by the aircraft. So this is called NIMBY syndrome. NIMBY, NIMBY syndrome. This is a peculiar disease that is not in my courtyard. Not in my courtyard. So we need a development. We need an establishment. That development is not required for our residential area. Not in my courtyard. So this is called psychological factors. So during Saturdays and Sundays, you might have seen the youngsters are riding in a bike without a silencer, that will create a huge noise that will disturb the peacefulness of the society that we are seeing. So this will create an angry for us that affects our psychology, our activity. So these are all the factors which affects the human health. So UV radiations, global warming, noise that I have told you earlier, chemical hazards, sulfur dioxides, DDT, biological factors, that is bacteria, virus, parasites. So what are the preventive measures? See, if we want to have a good health, some preventive measures need to be taken. So, in order to reduce the infection of corona, so what we do, we must wear the masks and gloves. Likewise, we need to take some preventive measures to safeguard our body. So what are the preventive measures? Always wash your hands before sitting for food. Cut short, clean your nails, cut your nails then and there. Maintaining skin, teeth, hair of your body. So drinking chemically treated and filtered water. Now the reason for 90% of the disease spread is the contamination of the water. So when we take a clean water, so this problem can be minimized. And eat food always while in the hot conditions. If we take older food, there is the possibility for entering of bacteria into our body. So when we take a hard conditions, the possibility for the growth of bacteria can be somewhat reduced. Before cooking, wash the raw vegetables and fruits with clean water. So do physical exercise to have proper blood circulations in the body. These are all some of the preventive measures to have a good health. NIMBY syndrome, not in, I have wrongly told, not in my that is not in my courtyard. NIMBY syndrome means not in my backyard. NIMBY, not in my backyard, which describes the opposition of residents to the nearby location of something very something they consider undesirable, even it is clearly a benefit of many. That I have told you, airport is necessary, but the people who are residing around the aerodrome, they don't want the airport or aerodrome in their residential area. So they want to travel in aircraft, but they don't want aerodrome near their residential area. This is called NIMBY syndrome. Next topic is a very important topic, that is human rights. So do we need human rights? So imagine the country, so we don't have any human rights. The human rights are not included in our constitution. What will happen? So what are human rights? Human rights are the rights of the human being must enjoy on this earth, since he or she is a human being. So any human being have to enjoy certain rights, that is called human rights. In the past there was no human rights. People were killed mercilessly by the administrators. The world has witnessed many incident you might have come across. Have you heard about Socrates? So who is Socrates? So Socrates is the father of Western philosophy. So he was executed because of he expressed his views against the Greek people. Greek people worshipped sun and moon as their god. So what Socrates thought, I was given birth by one man and one lady. I was not given birth by the stones and soils of this country. When he expressed what he emphasized, you must pray, you must worship your parents rather than the sun and moon. What is wrong in it? So when he expressed these views, so he was blamed corrupting the young youths in the Greeks, and he was executed by giving a hemlock type plant extract. That this story I have told you. So still, even though this human rights was talkative throughout the world in the year 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was brought by the United Nations in the year December 10, 1948. Almost all countries included the human rights in their constitution. Even in our country, India included various basic rights to our constitution. Still, some countries are violating the human rights. The best example is North Korea. So even though the human rights were included in its constitutions, the rights of the people, many basic fundamental rights of the North Korean people are totally blocked by the North Korean government. They could not freely express their views. They could not freely live from their countries. They could not share any informations in the social media. Even the press, the freedom of press is totally restricted. So still it is the violation of human rights are going on throughout the world, in some countries in the world. So what are human rights? As I said before, human rights are the rights of a human being must enjoy on this earth. These rights cannot be taken away by any laws or any legislators. So to monitor the human rights, the government of India is set up the National Human Rights Commission. Every state is having state human rights commission. The chairman of the National Human Rights Commission and state human rights commissions are appointed by the respective governments. The chairman mostly would be the retired judge from High Court or Supreme Courts. High Courts or Supreme Court. So what are the human rights? Human right to freedom. So right to express our views, freedom to assemble to express their views, freedom for unions or associations. Many associations are running in our country. Laborers Association, many clubs. These are all our basic rights. Full right. We have a right to protest against the government peacefully without disturbing the society. We have a rights, but when this right is not permitted, this is the violation of human rights. We can send a complaint to the Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission or Central Human Rights Commission. Freedom to build their houses everywhere, wherever they like. So we have a rights to live in this country. So we have so we have a right to purchase a land where we can construct the houses. So nobody can prevent, nobody have a rights to prevent this construction. Okay. Okay, human right, right to property, rights to earn property anywhere, human right to freedom of religion. You can follow any religions. So they equal before all religions are equal before law. So human rights to culture and education. So every religion have their own thoughts, own beliefs. So nobody have a rights to prevent our beliefs. Constitutional remedy, yeah. If we feel the human rights is violated, so we can go to the court and get to protect our human rights. We have a rights to file a case in the court to get a remedy. Human rights to equality, all either the President of India or the ordinary citizens, all are equal before the law. No discrimination on the grounds of religion, sex, place of birth, position, etc. That is called human rights to equality. Human rights against the exploitation, yes, this is very very important. The children should not be employed as laborers. Still in our country the children are employed as laborers. So this is the mere violation of human law. So human rights. Human right to food and environment. We have a right to get a clean drinking water. We have a right to get a nutritional food. We have a right to live in a clean environment. If anyone is polluting or exploiting the natural resources, that is called the violation of human rights. Human rights to good health, so physical and mental health. So in our part, in our country, so various laws in our constitution provides preserves the human rights of the people. So the first article 14, it provides equality before law. Article 15 prohibits the discrimination on the grounds of race, religion, caste, sex or place of birth. Article 16 provides an equal opportunity for all citizens in matters related to employment. 19 provides freedom of speech. 20 provides protection from conviction except in accordance with the law of the land. Court only have a right to punish us if we are proved we commit mistakes. Other nobody have a rights to punish us. So article 22 lays down the rights of a person in custody. 23 prohibits the traffic in human beings and all other forms of forced labor. Article 24 prohibits the explosion of labor children. Article 25 it guarantees freedom to profess, practice and propagate a religion of one's choice. 26 it authorizes the right to establish and maintain charitable and religious institutions. Likewise 17, 28, 29, 30, 32. So you go through. So Government of India has set up national institutions such as National Commission for Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe, National Commission for Women, Minority Commissions, etc. for the welfare of the vulnerable society, sections of the society. Okay, so that's all about human rights. Now we are going to discuss about value education. Yes, this is very 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 important. What is value education? What is difference between value education and the formal education? Formal education provides for learning, speaking and listening. So it will give a job opportunity. After getting a good degree from a good engineering college, we may get a job and we may earn. If we are not having any moral values, what is the use of this education? So after getting an engineering degree, this for example point of view, I am sorry, I am telling this, don't mistake me. After getting engineering degree in a first class, so if one lay down on the road after intoxication, what is the use of education? So after getting a degree, if we don't have if we don't know how to respect the elders, what is the use of education? After getting a degree, after we our good education, if we don't know how to behave in the environment, what is the use of the education? So the formal education that merely provides the reading, writing and jobs, they are not providing the values. The values are very very important. So we started our learning from gurukulas. What the learning methods of gurukulas, the students would go to the guru's house, they would support the guru's activity, personal works. So in return, the guru would teach to the students. So there were all moral values. Now we are taking a comfortable education in the college and schools. So the values are reduced. Such kind of practice are not followed nowadays, so that the values are reduced. If you take the many terrorist organizations, the educators are their members. Educated people enroll their membership in the terrorist activity. What is the reason for this? That is lack of value based education. So they got only formal education. That is the reason why this kind of problem arises. So value education includes the compassionate, helpful, loving, generous and tolerant. Value based environmental education. So environmental education provides knowledge about principles of ecology, fundamentals of environment and biodiversity. So it creates the sense of duty to care the natural resources and to manage them in a sustainable way. When environment gets degraded, it affects our health, well-being and our future, that we have already discussed. It is important to know all about environment and also have a right to have a safe and clean environment. Objectives and need of value education to improve the integral health of human beings, to live in a sustainable lifestyle, to increase the awareness about the constitutional rights, national integration, community development and environment, to create and develop awareness about the values and their significance and its role. So all those things. So how do you what are the concepts of value education? So why and how can we use less resources and energy? So why do we need to keep our surroundings clean? Why should we use less fertilizers, pesticides in farm? This kind of knowledge, uh, this kind of knowledge is necessary for every educated people. Otherwise, we could not save our natural resources, or we could not save our environment. So, what is the necessity to separate the garbages into a degradable and non-degradable one? So, why do we want to segregate the waste, biodegradable or non-biodegradable? What is the reason? Tell me. So, biodegradable waste can be easily disposed. Non-biodegradable waste, the separate methodology is required for its disposal. Uh, if we are not aware, what we do, we simply dispose this non-biodegradable waste and the soil as we are doing now. That will destroy the quality of the environment. So all these issues are linked to the quality of the human life. So value-based in education includes human values. What are the human values? The basic one is man in nature. This value must be included in this value-based in education, that is man in nature rather than nature for man. Another one is social values. These values, value-based education should develop social values. There is love, compassion, tolerance, and justice, which are the basic teachings of most of our religions. These need to be included in the environmental education. These are the values to be nurtured so that all forms of life and biodiversity on this earth are protected. Cultural and religious values. All religions are saying that the nature should be preserved. If we give something to the nature, then the nature is ready to provide whatever we need. Say for example, if we plant one tree, the nature is ready to give the fruits from the trees once it is grown. Next, ethical values. What are the ethics? As we discussed before in the earlier lectures, the human being should need an earth-centric view rather than human-centric view. Global values. So it is necessary. The concept for human civilization is a part of the planet as a whole, and similarly, nature and various natural phenomena over the earth are interconnected. So we must think. So when we exploit the nature and we create a deforestation here, that will invariably affect the people who are living in the United States. The entire globe must be considered as a one family. If one family member is infected, that will definitely affect the growth of the entire family. So this thought, these values should be taught in the environmental education. That is value-based education. Another one is spiritual values. Yes. So spiritual values, principles that develops self-discipline, reduction of wants, freedom from greed, and austerity. The spiritual values would give these kind of moral values. These all values must be included in the environmental education. Once we develop these kind of values, we should not exploit the nature at our own will. So all lives on the earth must be treated equally, so there will be no quarrel, there will be no problems with the environmental sustainability. How do we impart this value education? This can be taught in telling, storytelling, modeling, role playing, problem solving, yes, etc. The values of value based education that we have already discussed. Okay, another topic AIDS that we will discuss in the next class. With this we can stop in this lecture. Okay, okay, bye, see you.